have their work cut out here. As you say, maps sort of fall into that, but I'm really excited for this Sprout team, honestly. I think that Zello is not a bad pickup at all. He is a really, really flashy kind of AWPer, and has been slept on ever so slightly, as they say, across the years, trying to play in the Romanian scene rather than out in the international. And now the opportunity's come up to play on Sprout. Here he is, and he's got a lot to prove, a lot to show, and against one of the legends of the game. We'll see whether Kenny S can be a legend of today, though, of course. Getting into the action here, pistol underway. Nothing too out of the ordinary in terms of the buys. It is going to be a lot of armor bought up on that T side. And a little goosh onto Launex is our first port of call.
I'm still going to call him Lonks.
Yeah,
I don't
it
care.
rolls a bit better.
It just rolls so much better off the tongue, but 4B start here from Sprout. I mean, I think the intentions are pretty clear. They wanted to fight Banana. Lonks is actually going to fall off it. At just the wrong time, but still a 3-man setup. Bait setup with a flashbang, and Zyphon hits the first. Flash comes in, and now they can think about getting out of dodge. They're going to continue to fight, and Zyphon, well, if you're hitting shots like that, why not? Big man advantage, and it's Falcons. They've only got one choice now. They've seen so much on B, they have to sprint and try and get A instead.
Early moto smoke as well. They're going to try and send a player out from balcony. You can see the flash comes in. Needs to be super effective here, and nice little move from Hadji there. Stair, however, has got him covered from the back end. Just buying a bit of time and a frag. You need to be careful sort of rushing in here by the looks of things. More damage onto Zyphon, so very quickly it's gone from looking impossible to a bit more possible. Kenny can't get into app fast enough. It's set up for Python. He's got to take one of these players down quickly, though, and he just can't. He just can't. That is unfortunate towards the tail end for Falcons, but not going to go their way, obviously, and in massive part thanks to Zyphon.
Yeah, I mean, Kenny tried to get himself back into those apartments, but it's just a tad too late, wasn't he? Yeah, well played round from Sprout. Their setup worked well. Zyphon hits the first shots, and well, that's a pistol round. If you connect with those early kills, there's not a lot of strategy left to be played that just isn't the nades. And yeah, they'll be taking that one. Looking fairly good in the process. Interesting kind of thing to kind of note with Zyphon is Copenhagen Flames hated Inferno. They really hated Inferno. Dust 2 used to be their permaban, but Inferno was such a close second. They would float Dust 2 into matchups when they were scared of an Inferno pick. They would play a map they barely had any experience on to not play Inferno. So I think all eyes on Zyphon, and can he, adjust now to playing a team that does want Inferno very much in his repertoire?
Yeah, it has to be, right? Inferno, now that Dust 2's been removed, finally, I think Inferno sits in that middle of the pack. Everyone needs to know how to play Inferno, especially at this level of the game. And it's probably going to come out more often than not, where the top level are not afraid to go for the Anubis picks, as we saw at the World Finals, the Blast World Finals. I think that this level of the game, yeah, we have some of these teams. Kenny S, we were just talking about it. He streams the games, sort of, but also gets casters in or something like that. Doing a lot of streaming in between games as well, so how much hardcore practice the Falcons getting? Maybe not as much as they need or they want, but it definitely means that they can't be practicing Anubis straight out of the gate. So, yeah, banned away. We are being robbed of our Anubis opportunities, and the viewers being robbed of, awkward call-outs and stuff while we get used to it.
We call it a blessing here in the booth.
Well, yes.
Look at this, though. Wrong stack. Only 2 here on A. They're free stacking B with no information, and they're the ones with the full buy. It's their opponents on the 4. Zello had to find a kill when he doesn't, and now launches him for a world of pain. So many players to deal with. Basua was low, but the headshot's too good, and what are you going to do? There's a real case here to say this is a hard retake.
Yeah, very, very hard. No utility at all. No kit. They're here pretty quickly, I suppose. And thankfully, there's no rotate of the moto smokes, right, which can be so hard to get through. But the weaponry here, you can see it's just MBK. Surely wins these fights over towards short. At the very least, creates the 2 frags, and Zyphon not going to have a lot of time. If there'd been a head around on the box there, he might have gone for it, but unfortunately, no one going to give him that opportunity in the 2v1. And he does just have to move to save. Sprout going to be kicking themselves. Zello, especially, was the big whoopsie, right? If he gets his kill, he can hide a little bit, call for a rotation, but he overcommitted and also died without getting a frag.
Yeah. I just don't really know what Sprout were doing. Why take such a tremendous risk Do they think they had some information when the reality they didn't? Do they think they heard a lot of noise towards B and they were leading that way? Because they just seemed to give up the whole map when they had the weaponry and a utility advantage. So somewhere in the loop, they must have misplayed. They must have dropped nades for, too much in response to some pressure, because Falcons shouldn't have been able to push them around that easily. They should never have been able to get onto the site that weakly defended. And yeah, overall, just making Falcons' lives a little bit too easy. And now look at this opportunity they've got. 1 M4 buy, some pistols in the mix. Don't blame them for going for this boost. They have to find a potential kill out of somewhere, don't they?
Yep, there it is. MBK, doesn't find him. Doesn't find him. He's left on half HP. I mean, I thought he had it dead to rights, to be honest. Especially, catching on the edge of that smoke. Not going to happen for him, though. So that's kind of unlucky, but at the very least, they've traded some damage back. I don't know. That's a very thin silver lining. We'll see what the move is. Nice little flash for information. The classic Coffins flash. No one comes, but they will hear 2 or 3 players just really giving the game away that they are making noise towards B. 2 players at new box, both hiding. Going to go for a late boost, maybe. Oh, they've got the Cadian smoke as well. This annoying little smoke that gives you so much room to work with. It's Zello coming through the smoke of CT, who finds the linchpin play. And now Stare over here at new. They're not ready for him. Takes out Kenny S, just down to Python against 3. A lovely little move from Sprout, and it should come to fruition. It does indeed. Fantastic stuff. And like I say, Falcons maybe giving the game away a bit too easily.
They really could have used a second Molotov there onto new box. That would have made their life a lot easier. But didn't come. Zello also out of nowhere must have picked the perfect timing. We weren't on board, but clearly he came through that CT smoke when all the contact was being had onto those new box players. And yeah, Falcons a little bit blindsided, get stifled in their offense, and just can't clean out the bomb site. You have to kind of, when that smoke goes down by new box, you've got to sort of disrespect it. You just got to keep sprinting. You can't waste time. And yeah, slow down, too much focus on new box, and that just lets Zello come into force. So script just flipped on its head, and now it's Falcons with 1 rifle and a load of pistols in the mix. Myriad of pistols, and well, Morgs has no fear of fighting. Look at these 2, rifles in hand, and these young guns want some jewels.
5v3 ensues. Looking pretty good for the young guns, says I. To find anything, so scaled way back. And Falcons just stuck without an idea, to be honest with you. Looking for a little bit of damage. You're in this position where you do have to go for a buy. Wow, Zello certainly making up in the past couple rounds for his little mistake there in round 2.
He can rifle, that's for sure. I think off the back of what we saw yesterday in Falcons' first match, for anybody that if you just go back and look at the match page, you can kind of just see that Kenny had a really great series, and the player that I consider to be the best in this team in Haji didn't have a great day. Python as well, another player we expect to at least be reasonably far up the scoreboard, didn't have a good day either. And this is kind of the difference when I look at these teams is I know that Stare and Lonks are going to be brilliant. I know they're great. I know they've looked good recently. Whereas I don't know if it's role changes, but at least off what I've seen yesterday and recently, I haven't seen Python in great shape. And Haji yesterday looked very underwhelming considering where the standards I sort of hold him to. So yeah, I just feel like Sprout's young stars are more reliable right now, based off what I've seen.
Well, it's a weird dynamic, isn't it? Where it's like you got Kenny S in your team. We're obviously going to talk him up big on the broadcast here, but should they necessarily give him all the resources? Right? It's like he is the AWPer, so that's 1 box checked usually for the tier 2 level. But you are relying on him having these series where he's able to pop off. And I think yesterday that comes because they were against a very fast, very aggressive team. So it felt a bit puggy to watch and a bit puggy to play, maybe. But Sprout are going to play an incredibly different game and are known for their structure, I would say, is the simple way of putting it, right? And just the much more thought-out play style. And it seems like Refresh, maybe having been in the team a little bit with, some of the older guard, has brought that into his in-game leading style as well. And obviously he's got experience from the top level with, at the moment, one of the best IGLs in the game. So very different kettle of fish for Falcons to deal with. And already we're seeing some of the classically French stuff come in where they're just continually buying, and probably should have gone for, you know, a bit of a half buy in this round because they don't have a lot of utility. And Hadji's just accidentally right-clicked. That was also happening yesterday, right, where they were really messing up the nades. Speaking of, big damage on the attack here. Minute and 20 left on the clock. No CT smoke, thanks to a fluff nade, and there's 3 on B ready to go on the CT side. Surely no way of getting in. You would say Stair needed to be double peaked, but actually he and Lonks are going to get the double peak out, and it's just Python against 4. Not a hope in hell. Bomb at the seat of the CT side. They know exactly where he's at. They will mow him down, and it's looking all too easy. We're only 6 rounds in.
I think if I was Falcons coach, I'd be pausing right now. There it is.
Oh. Are
you? You could just see that was a communication disaster. I mean, the right click of the smoke is obviously, I mean, it's silly. It shouldn't be happening, but they still had time to think and be coordinated, and they ended up, I mean, clearly they said we have 2 smokes, we're going to smoke CT and coffins. They ended up just smoking coffins, when obviously you need to prioritize CT if you've only got the one, and it was just so telegraphed, and, you know, they should have just backed out and tried to force something out brackets, or, you know, bide their time a bit and hope a mistake comes, because fully telegraphed and without a CT smoke, that's what happens. And we've seen a few of these executes now onto B that have just been disjointed, to put it lightly. So these guys need to calm down. They were communicating really well yesterday in a lot of those rounds, and yeah, just getting a little bit flustered here at the start.
They always did well after the pauses, so that's kind of the big thing here. Is we'll see what this round has in store, but more importantly, the next round when they get the buys back out. Yeah, fast, aggressive, in your face is not going to work against Sprout. I think they are very ready. They will have been doing their watching yesterday, and they've had some time this morning to get the prep in. And yeah, it is, once again, Falcons are a team, I mentioned it quite a bit yesterday, sort of guns up, high alert, because most rounds they're going to try and get it won in the first 30 to 45 seconds, particularly on Inferno. Contact B, it would seem.
Yeah, they got no smoke again for CT. Could be disastrous.
And the Molly's just going to push them apart, and that's really awkward. Lounce very ready for this one. Stair finds 2 from CT. It's actually Lounce that kind of fluffs up a little bit. Python will take his head off. And now they've recovered 1 weapon. There's obviously a second one available somewhere if they can get their hands on it, although looks like Stair was pretty deep into CT, so probably not. Still, we've got an AK, we've got a 3 versus 3, and we have a nice post-plant setup. Python drawing attention to himself. Might even find a head. Goodness me, the crosshair was there, the speed of it. And now Hadji, it's such an unbeatable angle, man. Zello on the save. Can't even get away. And some textbook Hadji coming in at the tail end. So the pistol round, despite a 2K to mow them down, actually works pretty well.
Yeah, I don't entirely know what went wrong. I mean, as you said, that molly kind of forced their hand, didn't it? They just had to start running. And I don't think the flashes were super well timed with them going in. So Sprout, especially with players of Lonks and Stair's kind of mechanical caliber, you'd expect them just to just be a killing field as they're trying to get up and onto the bomb site. But albeit, you know, very good shots from Falcons, I think the Sprout players will watch that round back and say, maybe, you know, maybe we shouldn't have peaked like this. Maybe you could have flashed and pulled for me, you know? There might have been better ways to play that situation, and thank God they had the economy to take a round like that. That's a big swing in this first half.
Yeah, definitely. And if Falcons can string it together, then we're looking like a competition on our hands. They've got the banana control in the early stages, and Masuta left on 24, had to expend most of his nadage to get out. But Sprout answered back pretty well in this round, I'd say.
Banana control for Sprout. They can lean 4A with no worries. And Falcons should know this. They should know there are a lot of players in the area. MBK sprints his way back, presumably to clear a bit of banana. Flash isn't terribly helpful for Zello there. He sits on the angle. Okay. Banana control retaken. That forces 4A out of the question. And now Falcons can just make a good mid-round call. Where do they want to end?
35 seconds. They're going to make the decision fast. It looks like it will be a B lean. Bomb retrieved, the little fake smoke out towards long, and Refresh has read that very, very well. And he is quickly able to rotate towards B, calling this with perfection so far. Flash coming in for Stare and for Refresh. Going to be a bloodbath here. Almost 3 in for Stare, looking very, very good. Through the smoke comes Lonks, and they will just mow them down. Yeah, the read was there. Refresh, the right timing, the right spot, and his aim rings true.
Yeah, as soon as the banana retake came in, Zello started walking in short. He cleared out brackets and then told Refresh, you know, there's nothing coming. They threw a B split smoke, but it was never going to get used with no players out in brackets. So easy for Refresh. He also wasn't scared to make noise rotating because there was 20 seconds left. Can hardly turn around at that sort of timing. So all too easy for Sprout to have the numbers over. Credit to Zello really for that one. And yeah, onto defense. Couldn't really have gone any better. Falcons on check there. Falcons are heavily losing the macro game right now. They're outside of that one weird call in the second round from Sprout. They're never catching them out of position. Until now.
Until now, of course. MBK going to charge through. Zello goes down. Player in towards Pit in the form of Xiphon. Always difficult to deal with. Refresh has got him backed up. Oh, and a beautiful nade right combo. Refresh almost in for 2. Now the player in Pit that needed to, at the very least, chime in for one more. Broken spray down from Lonks. He gets there in the end. Certainly set up for Stare. Auto smoke is pretty bad. Suitor on an AWP, and both of them incredibly low. This is not out of the realms of possible. Oh, and he gets the timing, the catch on the first. He's going to try and edge towards to get himself a kit. They know that Python was around the pit area. Starts to clear. No one around. Got to be careful he doesn't get timed on, though, and I think maybe he's just heard a footstep behind him. He looks certainly very ready for that type of angle. The bomb is planted for Python, though, and Python's going to get that timing perfectly. Magic. Panic for Stare in the end, unfortunately, but close as damn it.
At least keeping the money low, though. That's the good news. That was a set play from Falcons, and clearly Zello wasn't ready for people to be getting out of mid and in towards the long side that fast. So good call. First time we've seen that sort of thing from Falcons, so yeah, I mean, from based on what we saw yesterday, NBK clearly has, what's a good guess, let's say 3 or 4 set rounds per map. They're really explosive, really fast. And he's not scared to go into them, so that was the first taste in this series and absolutely will not be the last. Here we go again. Nades flying over and they're trying the same round. But I think Sprout this time has set up a lot better.
Yes, definitely looking good. Lonks on the AWP, interestingly enough. Refresh nearly in for 2, but not quite. There. Oh, that's maybe the questionable play. We'll see. Xiphon's in towards Pit by himself, getting surrounded pretty quickly. Again, needs to live. It's a smoke down. So he will stay alive a little while longer here. Nade comes in. All good. Just be safe. Oh, MBK expends his entire magazine. It's just Kenny against 2. He's found the first. He knows the second is tagged. He knows where the second is at as well. So going to look to maybe rotate B. He is indeed. And onto a Galil. So they've definitely got the big info here that Xiphon is low HP. And Xiphon, unfortunately, is just without any idea of what to do. Starts digging for information you can see on your minimap, and obviously it will become evident that it's a B plant in just a moment there. On his way. Low HP. Not sure if he can get this one done, to be honest with you. Kenny is in a really good spot to pull off a big 2v1 for Falcons to keep them in the running in this first half. Xiphon slowly approaches. Very slowly indeed. Got to start to make noise, though, as that bomb ticks down, and Kenny knows exactly where he's coming from. Oh, back turned. Easy for Kenny S. Very easy indeed. 4th round for Falcons, and they are really closing this gap now.
Yeah, it looked so good for Sprout as well. Found a couple kills. Zello and Boiler managed to retreat in apps, and you just think, yes, Falcons may have gained a lot of space, but they're so disjointed, they're so all over the place, but seem to find a few kills amidst the chaos and find some gaps. So Sprout, finally, that money's fully broken, and given how close these rounds are, look at the decision they've gone for. It's a full force buy. 1 M4, 4 Deagles in the mix. Utility is massively wavering. This is not looking good at all for Sprout, and look how fast MBK's taking banana control. He wants some fights.
Yeah, hungry with that MAC-10. They do like the MAC-10s here on the Falcon side, it would seem. Remember yesterday they pulled out a sort of 4-man MAC-10 force buy. which I'm definitely here for. Mac 10 is it's underrated. It's a pretty strong SMG, to be honest, especially with the run and gun feature. So we've gone for a B stack on the Sprout side of things. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's the wrong bomb site. And Refresh is here with an M4, the strongest gun in the round, and can't find a single kill. So that's probably going to be the round, I would imagine.
Yeah,
because they can't buy in the next.
Yeah, he's just saying to their mates, come on, guys, we're not seeing anything here on A. Take this one. Bomb will go down, and that's going to be 5 for Falcons. Sprout will just play another kind of force by sort of round in the following with their saves. And, yeah, Sprout were looking so dominant in this half early on. Falcons have, off the back of a couple of nice set rounds, those fast mid into long, twice in a row it worked, and that's completely transformed this half. Sprout, presumably, be nice if they take a pause, or at least at this sort of time have a discussion about dealing with that set round, because how many times are they going to get fooled with the same sort of play?
So, everyone will survive after the initial frag onto Refresh. 6-5 though. Falcons, you know, look very, very weak. They took that timeout and it has turned around since then. But we were 6-1. It was very, very nasty in the beginning. Sprout were really looking like they were going to start dominating. But it's been anything but since then. So I'm very curious here to see what Sprout pull out in the future rounds. It's not that it's falling apart or anything of that sort, but Falcons have definitely found a way in. They just play a little bit slower, and that seems to be most effective.
Yeah, I wonder if the discussion in the Falcons camp was to stop defaulting and stop playing slow rounds because we're just making too many mistakes, and to run set plays. You don't need communication if you're running a set round. Everyone knows what they're doing, so that's why they've looked so much more clinical in the last few. It's because there isn't the opportunity for communication to be a problem. So, that is my suspicion. And based on what we saw yesterday, I mean, coach's influence is pretty immense on this Falcons team. They take their pauses well, they take them often, and yeah, they seem to do good stuff. The funny thing about this matchup is, I know from playing against Sprout a lot, that Berry, I've never seen him save a timeout. He's amazing at being very efficiently always using his 4 timeouts just in time.
I believe it's Oz Striker as well for the side of Falcons, which it is indeed. Quick 1-for-1 trade in towards middle. As Refresh is a bit annoying on the PT. Oh! Eagle of Lounce is a bigger deal. Drops the bomb. One more player in on the site. If Zyphon can get anything here, I mean, it would be absolutely massive. We've recovered the bomb. Stairs on his way. Distraction shots coming in. Across the board. They just can't finish anyone off. Well, Stair, now's the time. Couple body shots. One clean headshot. It's not too much to ask, is it? Ooh, he's got an AK now, so it does become a hell of a lot easier. He's here in pretty good time, but from the body language, it looks like he's just going to move to save.
Having was saving.
Damn it.
Give us what we want. Give the fans what they want.
The big thing here is we obviously will continue to chat about the bomb radius and all that. Is if they come his way falsely, he has a good chance to take them down with the bomb, but they're actually going the other way. Good read all together, snaking it out. Even then, they still need to keep going to not take any damage. I think they'll live. But yeah, it really is quite far these days.
All right, Sprout. Well, time to stop this absolute torrent of Falcon rounds. What's the call going to be? Do they even need to switch it up? Is it just some small mistakes that they can correct on the fly? Because earlier on in this game, the macro looks so good. So good. That I already questioned the approach. Here we go. 3 on towards B. That's the call. And it looks like Refresh is just dropping some nades. So some extra nadage for those B players. We'll see how that's used as this round progresses.
Big nade damage in towards Banana. Not a lot rolling off the back of that. They're going to go for a Banana retake, or not really? Okay, so Sprout are also looking a bit timid here. It's a mid burst that comes out from Falcons. There's no one around on either bomb site looking for an opening pick, and it's just not presenting itself.
Sprout just sitting back and saving nades, but look at it. Re-smoke goes down on B. Stair picks up the extra nades, and there's still 2 smokes here on B. Zello again thinks about re-aggressing. Falcons smartly playing out of brackets. Means they can't be felled by a mid retake. Smoke goes down, and now actually Falcons are in a really tough position. Thank God that smoke is bad, otherwise they might have no avenues to play into here. Mid is blocked, B is nades. And you can see them, but they don't know where to go right now.
Yeah. Yeah, even then with the gap, I mean, there's no one around to allow them to exploit it. We've gone from a passive setup to a small mid-retake back to a passive setup here on A. 15 seconds. Everybody's still left alive. That's exactly what they needed. Hadji on the entry. Zello, though, AWP on site is so hard to get past. Refresh has dropped the bomb. There's no time at all. You may as well just move to safe here, guys. Kenny will trade out one more, but yeah, they just don't have enough time. And really, really well done there from Sprout on the utility usage.
Kenny can never, right now, be posted up on the right side as Zello walks back in. It's twice it's happened. Same sort of deal. Walks back in, gets that mid information. That mid smoke, albeit not the best ever, still did enough to scare Falcons out of doing anything fast. And yeah, Sprout, they changed the game. They go much more passive. They save their nades, and it works to perfection. So must have had a bit of a discussion about what to change up, and there it worked. Plan going as intended. And Falcons put back on notice as we get into the very latter stages. Look at this fast banana take again. Takes so much damage. Molly forces wide, and Zello's here. So Zello this time in the right place.
Yeah, tried for a fast move. Falcons, that seems to be their if we're out of ideas type method. And this is really tough once again. Still 2 smokes over on that B side of things. So I'd imagine B is going to be a lockout. Going through the smoke at mid. We'll see no one around brackets. I think this is the big figure out that Sprout has had, is like, you know, so long as they don't have brackets control, they are very flustered with what to do in the late stage of the round.
Same deal again. Brackets retake, have the information. Launches a smoke, as does Stair. And yeah, this is what we saw at the start of the half. The macro is just so good for Sprout. They're absolutely on top of this. 3 are now on towards B. Still playing into mid with 2 players in case Falcons turn around, and this is going to be a meat grinder when they go in. There's so many players here.
Here we go. Straight in. 2 at new box. Once again, this worked for them very well in a half-buy round, and this pesky smoke that they keep throwing down is just buying more time for Zello to pop off. Gaps in smokes. They seem to be everywhere for both teams, to be honest with you, and Zello capitalizes perfectly.
Bad CT smoke again. It might have been doable. They might need a clean entry on one of the new box players, but that lack of a CT smoke just made it impossible because Zello just posted up. No chances there. Look at this. Lonks with the confidence. Feels like he can find an avenue on this secondary AWP. Haven't seen it just yet, but showing more weapons in his arsenal. Is he going to peek Banana? No. Bit more of a passive start. It's on the corner, and Zello, look at that. Execution as Kenny's head is removed, and wow, wings are clipped here because Falcons are falling fast.
Ooh, misses out on a jumping shot though, and it might just cost them. Moves across to the Deagle to keep things in favor of the CT side here. Looking for a bit more on the Deagle, doesn't come for him, and I believe they lose the player on site pretty quickly as well. The rush, super effective from Falcons. Able to go in to just buy a bit of space. There you are, a HE lands to even us back up. Molly down to deny plants. The bomb is actually somewhat trapped and hit now. The Suitor with a keen headshot. And that was absolutely key to get them onto the A-bomb site. They continue to take their time, though. MBK is not rushing this plan at all. Very weary of a player moving in through the moto smoke. They'll get the re-smoke. Oh, and Masuta with another. Jesus, that's a hell of a round coming in from Masuta. It will be 8-7 at the turn of the half. As close as, damn it, of course, our big marquee matchup of the day has started off pretty hot on Inferno. Make sure you catch the second half in just a few.
From the back roads to back streets, I see you foes trying to trap me, but I don't run like a track meet, even though I'm #1 like an athlete. And the way I maneuver around you and through you, I'm coming and I'm bound to pursue you. I'm everything that you knew of, plus more. What's in store is I'm about to get to you. Sleepless nights, better think this twice before you step to me and come and speak with strife. There's a lesson when you reach my life. It'll be chin-checking and I'll teach you right. Plenty tried, plenty failed. Too many times I've seen plenty bail. And there will be no surprise what I'm about to do when you are looking through my eyes. See many go, see many come. Seen that they won't bring it to me, son. Try me if you want, but won't be any fun. I'll take the challenge. I'll beat anyone. I'm the one. I'll be quite clear. Bow down to no one. I'm right here.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back into the second half here. Well underway into this here pistol round. It is, of course, 8-7. And it is, of course, very, very important. And it is, of course, a fast rush coming in from Sprout here. Not wasting any time. Refresh being the one to draw all the aims away. Masuta will chime in with the first headshot. Somehow, Refresh is alive and also not getting kills. And then he gets that one? What? Okay. 4 versus 2. They managed to overwhelm the A-bomb site, having only lost 1 player. And actually, an immediate call to save comes in here, Alan.
Yeah, you don't often see the pistol saves, but they recognize that this is impossible. Might as well save the armor and think about the force buy in the following. Sprout. Looking good. Both pistols now for them. It was just an assassination, as you said. I mean, not a lot else to say. Both for that explosive play, and wow. Couldn't really have gone any better. Instant execution, and I think that's the thing about this Sprout team is they just, I don't know, they have such an ability to play with pace when they need to. They have so many good individual players, even Xiphon, who for a lot of people was, you know, not the, let's say not the focal piece of focal point of Copenhagen Flames. He was actually the best player for Flames at Antwerp when they had a great run. So it's not like Xiphon's a bad player. That he's overshadowed just by virtue of his roles. And yeah, that's the thing about this team is rounds like that can just happen. They might just win it off the back of some incredible headshots.
What we love to see, though. So, a good start, a big start. They now need to survive the force buy. They did not manage to do so in the previous half. So we best make sure that they do so here. Slow start into this one, though, Alan. It is some early nadage. Not wasting any time on the Sprout side, though. And they're trying to get that mid control, and they will indeed find it. Where are they going to go with it? If they move towards long, which looks to be the plan, a pop flash, perhaps, it's going to make life very difficult. There's two players already been waiting around the corner. Masuta can't make it away. And they might just have got the desserts thereafter here. They're derived by Mac 10. And now an open two-way bomb site. Bomb gets dropped a bit annoyingly. But it looks like once the bomb goes down here, everything should be said and done.
We're going to get some deja vu here. There's going to be another save. Soon to be called by Falcons. As this one, well, if the last one was impossible, what is this? This is otherworldly. You're not going to be retaking this bomb site. And yeah, Sprout. I like the round. Bit of mid-control, take long. It's always a nice piece of control to have. It's going to force the C's into a bad position. And it's exactly what happened. Falcons felt they had to take fights. And quite frankly, didn't lean their way very well, did it? Stairs having a storm of a game. Lonks is very intent on catching up. And yeah, his team's functioning just as intended. It's not like Zello's doing too badly either. So Sprout are playing by exactly the book at the moment.
Right. Another slow round coming in, I think. Inferno sometimes in the earlier moments can be a bit like this, but Falcons will hopefully have their rifles out as quickly as possible. They've got a number of nades coming into this one. 4 to be exact. They all go into the same spot? Not quite, but it looks like down Banana will at least get a couple. Might see a frag come in. One to soften them up. A couple coming down. Minimal damage, unfortunately, so anticlimactic once again. Falcons, their CT side has not started all that well. They're going to gamble, rotate across to A as well, which would be the wrong bomb site, in fact.
Can't blame them given the investment, but yeah, fortune has most certainly not been their friend thus far on the defense. Long's just left alone. He's got a max 10. It doesn't really matter if he goes down, but TK in the mix. Long's, yeah, very determined to catch up Stir, and now he has. So 16 kills apiece for those two. And I think as this half develops, I think for me, there's a couple storylines here. I think Kenny was so good yesterday that even if, for me personally, Haji's the best player on this team, I still need to see Kenny having a really good game here on the CD side if they're going to turn this around. I think that's kind of a prerequisite. I think Haji also needs to be very, very good as well. So I think these two guys, especially now given the deficit, have to start firing on all cylinders once these guns come out.
Yeah, very true. Here we go. Into that round then. Will come our way. It's been a slow start to this. We'll see if Falcons make a move with some aggression. Like you said, Kenny needs to become activated here. NBK going to be on a Mac 10 on CT side even. Looks like it. He loves that Mac 10 apparently at the moment, which is kind of hilarious. So see what the move is. They're all going to buy up HEs. They're even, you know, right down to the wire in terms of what utilities get. Haji's going to hold a little bit of cash. Perhaps doesn't need to use any himself. The AWP activated around the corner. Not quite. Just going to hold in towards sandbags. The dynamic duo, MBK and Kenny S.
This is going to get very exciting in a few seconds. Delayed banana take. There's no deep molly, though. And it comes in very late, and now they're going to explode in behind it. Nades are there. Zello connected the first. MBK probably wasn't the gun for the moment, and it's a 2-for-2 trade. I guess Kenny somewhat has banana control. It's a bit hard to tell with all these smokes down. But look at this call from Sprout. Immediately starting to lean back towards A, and I think they'll be happy now just to drop the pace a little bit and feel out the map.
Yeah, they've spread the defense very, very thin with those kills. And as you say, it's banana control, but are they aware? Not quite. Cypher going to eat a lot of damage. Not really trade very much back. Slow walk up short, however, is deadly. Ooh. Both of them chime in, and that's got to be Kenny S on an AWP save.
I think of what I've seen, you know, in this game and recently with Sprout, I think they're starting to get really good at mid-rounding and playing late rounds and just making consistently good decisions and playing together. And that's what we saw with Falcons in that first half, as they're getting flustered, making mistakes. Whereas Sprout seems to be on the same page so much on this T side so far. So massive credit, I guess, to Refresh. Refresh is the MVP already on this map. For me, even if the kills don't show it, he makes so many good calls on that CD side. The macro has been flawless, and yeah, Refresh doing a good job right now.
Kenny, can he live? Oh, a leg! Oh, the Deagle to finish off. He will survive. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant stuff.
Running out of time here, aren't they? Couple more gun round losses, and this is game over on Falcons map pick. Bit of a bonus, I guess, for Sprout with two SMGs in the mix, but they might be making a bit of a cheeky call here. To an invert it. It looks like a fast play. Boiler nades come down, mid smoke coming over, fast mid take it is. Flashbangs raining through, deep smokes for a fast long wrap as well. Nade tags up a little bit, but not so much damage, and now Haji and his teammate, that's Kenny S, under a lot of pressure. Kenny in hit with an AWP. It's not the guns for the moment, and he can't find good fights. And it's really sorry to say, but I think Falcons need to save. I don't think this retake is on.
Yep, they're out of there. I mean, just totally overwhelmed. The Apps player as well. You saw a little snippet of him getting shot in the side of the head. They just had no idea, no read, and fantastic stuff from Sprout. You are so far ahead, but they might as well try a fast one and see what happens, right? Because they've got that cash available. They can afford to lose a round. And you have this whole blessing in disguise type thing where if they do lose the fast round, they can go into something that's a bit more set and reset the economy. So they're in a very, very, very good spot in terms of control of the game, not just the amount of cash and, of course, the round lead that they possess.
Yeah, I'm guessing they went for that call because they had the Mac 10s. It's kind of like, we could play a default, or we could be super explosive and put these Mac 10s on the front players. I think they went through their long smoke there, which makes it even harder for Falcons to kind of have a read of what's coming in. So super explosive, and I don't think Falcons are ready at all for that one. So, you know, Sprout showing a lot of different looks here. We had plenty of defaults, and they got that's a fully set round, very, very heavily practiced. So, you know, this playbook runs deep for these guys, that's for sure.
Yeah, and Falcons starting to really feel the burn of it.
You can see as well what running a fast round like that does. Falcons immediately dropping so many nades. We're just like, we can't let that happen again. And Sprout are just playing as slow as can be. So in terms of, you know, yeah.
I would just say it's kind of out of character a little bit, is the big thing. Not expecting that as much from Sprout, and then they find massive success with it. It should be Falcons that are able to hold against a round like that. Speaking of holds, we see Kenny S. Simple shot for him. The double peek in apartments doesn't really come to fruition. So now it is Sprout a man down here, Alan.
Kenny's leaning the right way as well. They're not really hearing anything on A. And Kenny's decided to swap off, and I don't think Sprout's going to expect Kenny to be already on this side of the map. I mean, he was last seen in the apartments 20 or 30 seconds ago. They don't have perfect util. Kenny's going to get a few shots here. Does get forced off the angle, but still two players on the site. A front side smoke Maybe that's a missed coffin smoke. Are they really going to plant in this? Oh my lord, this is risky. 28 seconds, and I can't believe Sprout are pulling this off. First kill found, and it's getting so hectic. Xiphon's through the CT smoke. What on earth is going on?
Absolutely no idea. Kenny S still remains alive. He's the one man that could save them. They're so low. The fights, the luck has been going the way of Sprout throughout this round. Think inside the front sight smoke. Simple as that, apparently. We'll see. Hadji wants to go for it. Kenny doesn't. If only they knew. I think that is a very doable one. Kenny swaps across to an A1S or something, and they really could have pulled that off together, but they just have no info.
Yeah, there's just... it's a little depressing, isn't it, for Falcons? They had the read. I mean, their macro was good. Just couldn't execute when push came to shove. And, yeah, I mean, it probably was intentional, the front side smoke, I guess. We've got to assume that way. So for Sprout, they're showing some funky rounds here. I mean, set round going through their long smoke into a long wrap, and then that time executing B with a front sight smoke. You don't see that. At least in the style they just did it, so... I don't know. Sprout are... well, I mean, for a map as old as Inferno, it's not often I get caught off guard by a new round, but they're doing their best.
Yeah, yeah. And again, the simplest of things are able to just fluster their opponents, I think, because Sprout probably read into the fact the comms are not the cleanest. The rotations, the CT side communication is really lacking in places, right? The T side was actually somewhat decent once they got their heads wrapped around and once they were able to take a bit more control, but this CT side has been kind of a mess.
Remember, like on T side you can set the pace as well. Like on T side you can call a set round if you're getting flustered and you're having issues with just playing together. You can't do that on the CT side, so you might have hit the nail on the head. There's no fix now. There's nothing you can do. Yeah. Maybe you get super aggressive and try and set the tone, but it's not as easy as it is on the T side.
No, definitely not. And I do want to say, harkening, I've asked Alex this question in person. I believe MBK was T-side calling on Vitality 2019. I might be wrong on that because it is obviously now
I think it's
removed.
CT.
Right. But they definitely had split the... Yeah. So I don't know. I'm trying to get in there for MBK with an old anecdote, but I think you might be right, to be honest. Either way, it doesn't make a difference. They're struggling massively. Early tag comes in this round, and it looks like it's going to be another fast one from Sprout.
They've got options. Xiphon's still in A apps, and with that pick, I think they're just going to go. Python is so low. He's so low, and this round is over. You're going to save and give up 8 match points in a row? I think you have to. I don't think there's any alternative. This has been... It's been brilliant from Sprout. They had one period in that first half, didn't they, where made a few errors. They had a weird second round where they lent B for no reason, and from that point onwards, they've just been flawless. It's been brilliant.
Yeah, this is great Counter-Strike from them, and as you can see up in the top left, folks, picked by Team Falcons, the next map coming is Ancient, if maybe you missed the pregame. And that's kind of Sprout's home, and it was a map that Falcons had permabanned until Anubis was added, and now Anubis seems to be their new permaban, which is not really the wave at the minute. I think because the pundits would advise against that one in the current state of the game. NES, down to refresh. A little bit funny there at the end, unfortunately. I mean, there's nothing funny about the scoreline. 15-7 should be the game and the map going the way of Sprout. And then, yeah, we move on to home territory for Sprout in the next. So this is really looking sunny for the Danish core, as they now are.
I do think the scoreline is pretty funny if you're Danish or Romanian. So
true.
I think they're pretty happy about it. They're okay. And yeah, I mean, Sprout are looking so good here. I did question the Inferno pick. I thought it'd be close and Sprout would edge it. I didn't foresee anything like this. This is just an absolute battering. Sprout have so many options. They look so clean. They look so composed. And I see no reason for that to change. Now we're getting into round 23. Banana control coming out. They're getting super aggressive, just fighting it, facing it. Refresh really going to go through. Look at this. No fear whatsoever from the Danish in-game leader. Python there to recover that for Falcons. It might not have worked, but I respect the size of those on him.
Indeed. I think the overconfidence of a 15-7 definitely getting to the IGL, wanting to have a bit of fun. Ends up being not so fun. Stair tried to find the arm of MBK, escapes him. A would be their best bet. There's only 2 players here at the moment, so they're sort of even in that sense. If they manage to pick up the speed, the fire is going to slow them down, obviously, and in comes NBK from that B bomb site, quickly backed up by Kenny S. So the chance to pull this round back is dwindling quickly. 3 players in on the site in a matter of moments. Fake out comes through. It's actually going to cost Siphon his life. Lounx is now left alone, and he has no HP to work with. Haji on 0 box. The bullets apparently go all around him. 15-8. 7 more to go.
So much money on the Sprout side. Shows the dominance up to this point. I think Refresh wanted to pressure the site, and he saw nothing, so he thought he had a gap. If it wasn't for Kenny's flash, I think it was Python. I think Python would have been dead without the flashbang. So I don't think Sprout even necessarily misplayed it. Maybe a slower default round would have been a higher percentage, but Refresh thought he had the gap, and I guess you kind of mentioned with the confidence they've got brewing at the moment, you'd bet it on every single one of these players in all of their duels. Slow pace though in this one. Exchange of banana control, some smokes down for both teams as Stead creeps up close. This could explode into a fight very quickly as he gets into that top car smoke. And look at Falcons on the minimap. 4 mid stack. Well, they're pretty confident Sprout is coming this way.
Looks like they might be correct. Early nade usage says as much. Now the body's starting to move in as well. Just as Masuta moves away, this timing could be impeccable. But Sprout are really winding the clock down. Oh, no way. They're starting to edge towards B. Wow. Okay. B split smoke. Are they going to use it?
Python's
35
still,
seconds.
Yeah,
We gotta go.
Python knows nothing's out here. You can see what it's doing. Python's not in library. There's only 2 near the A bomb site, so you're forcing a 5-on-2 right now. That split smoke has worked very well.
20 seconds. Not a lot of time. They're going to go on to A. I think they would go via long, but it's not going to work. They have to go early, take some damage, lose a player. Zello on the AWP needs to chime in here. Kenny S. Surely got to go down. Somehow stays alive, and that's all they needed. 3 seconds. Not a chance for Zyphon, and Sprout really wound that clock down. Little too much in the end. And it's a 9th for Falcons, and they have a lot of players survive that as well.
Yeah, they couldn't have known it, but long was so open for business if they just went with numbers. Just a little bit slow, a little bit of hesitation, something we haven't seen a lot in this half, and Falcons capitalize enormously. Still, though, I still think Sprout were playing pretty good Counter-Strike here. It still feels like a matter of time. Falcons are making this scoreline more compelling, but whilst the money's dwindling, the loss bonus is going up so quickly here, and it's not like Sprout are struggling that much to find bomb plants. So it still feels like so far from overtime, doesn't it?
I mean, usually I say 15-12 is sort of the scoreline where you'd be like, okay, this is now a comeback. At the moment, it's just sort of picking up rounds because Sprout, it feels like are being a bit more experimental. You know, they went for something really fast and aggressive, didn't work. They went for something on the opposite end of that scale where it was incredibly slow and it didn't work. So I don't know if they're just sort of practicing a few rounds in officials or maybe they are a little out of ideas. Time will tell on that one. But this has started off the same as last round. Early nades get themselves some brackets control. This time they're actually going to move into brackets and use it. And maybe what they were doing in the last round was all part of some kind of ploy. Because this is very similar, except they've got bodies here this time. It's not just nades coming in. There's also men to back it up. So we'll see. That B split may well be on the cards. Kenny, however, he's got other ideas.
Yeah, bailing them out because I don't know what Masut was doing there. That was way too overzealous. And Stair gets Python. Big kill. That's going to put the fear of God into this CT side. Refresh thinks he has a gap, but he doesn't. Oh, they could have really retained that 3-on-3. But look what's done with the MBK. Wow, this is such a hectic round. MBK doesn't know where to look. He's thinking they could be long, they could be B. Timing's just about with him, but he can't kill Zello, so bomb will get planted. This isn't too bad for the T side. They might be at a deficit, but they now can really control these fights.
Yeah, well, Stairs in so deep, right? That's the one thing that they've not got to be expecting. We saw this one
nades.
actually.
No nades as well.
Yeah, in a Falcons round, this was really solid. It's such a hard setup with no nades to get through. We'll see. One jump across actually lands the flick. Okay. They try and test Zello, and, well, they get the bite of the dog. We'll see what happens here. Kenny S trying to contact in on the AWP. Brings it down to a 1v1, but Zello is not going to let him finish. Not going to continue the game on. He will end it 16-9, and Sprout come away with an incredibly clean victory.
Well, that was brilliant. That was the Sprout that made Rio, wasn't it? That feels like the best game I've seen them play since that RMR. That was absolutely brilliant. I mean, they lost some rounds, they had a few odd ones in the mix, but they're quite a young team. They're still getting used to refresh cooling. They're kind of exactly what you would expect, and